For a decade, they were invincible. They didn't just change the way we watch movies, they changed the way we lived. Netflix and chill wasn't just a meme, it was a cultural default. They were the executioners who put a bullet in the head of Blockbuster. They were the liberators who saved us from cable TV commercials. They were the kings of the new world. Wall Street loved them. Investors worshiped them. At its peak, this company was worth more than Disney. They had an unlimited checkbook and a monopoly on your attention. It seemed like nothing could stop the Red Giant. They had the perfect product. It was cheap, it was fast, and it had everything. Do you remember what it felt like in 2013? You logged in, and the world was at your fingertips. No ads, no waiting, just pure entertainment. It felt like magic. Until the music stopped. On April 19th, 2022, Netflix announced something that hadn't happened in 10 years. They lost subscribers. In a single day, $54 billion of value evaporated. It was the worst trading day in the company's history. But the stock crash was just a symptom. The disease had been spreading for years. The company that killed cable TV has now become the very thing it swore to destroy. Prices are up, ads are back, and the content, it's gone. This isn't just a story about a bad quarter. This is an autopsy. Today, we are going to peel back the balance sheets and look at the bloody corporate warfare that took down the king of streaming. Netflix is dying, and I'm going to show you exactly who killed it. Act Y, the content trap. To understand the murder, we have to look at the weapon. And ironically, the weapon was Netflix's own success. In the early days, Hollywood studios looked at Netflix as a harmless dumping ground. NBC, Disney, and Warner Brothers had thousands of old shows collecting dust. When Netflix offered to pay them millions to license these old shows, Hollywood said, "Sure, free money." It was the greatest strategic error in modern business history. Netflix built its empire using other people's weapons. For years, the most watched show on Netflix wasn't Stranger Things or House of Cards. It was The Office. Netflix got you hooked on their platform using content they didn't own. They were a middleman. And business history teaches us one thing. The middleman always gets squeezed. But then the sleeping giants woke up. Disney saw the billions Netflix was making and realized, wait a minute, why are we selling the bullets to our enemy? In 2019, the great clawback began. Disney pulled Marvel, Star Wars, and Pixar. NBC took back The Office. Warner took back Friends. Paramount took back Star Trek. Suddenly, the Netflix library, once the greatest video store on earth, felt empty. They lost 60% of their most viewed library in a span of 3 years. This forced Netflix into a corner. If they couldn't rent movies anymore, they had to make them. And this is where the first knife entered the wound. Netflix had to pivot from being a technology company to being a Hollywood studio. And it turns out making good movies is really, really hard. For every Squid Game, there are 50 expensive flops that nobody watches. They were no longer the aggregator. They were just another channel. Act 2, the uneven war, the ecosystem problem. This brings us to a problem that almost no one talks about, the asymmetrical war. Netflix is fighting a war it cannot afford against enemies who don't even care about profit. Let's look at the competition. Amazon Prime Video is not a streaming service. It is a perk to get you to buy more toilet paper and pay for Prime shipping. Amazon doesn't need to make a profit on the Rings of Power TV show. They just need you to stay in the Amazon ecosystem. Apple TV Plus is not a business. It's a marketing expense for the iPhone. Apple has $3 trillion in the bank. They could burn money on TV shows for the next 100 years and not even feel it. And then there is Disney. If Disney releases a movie, they make money at the box office. Then they make money on the toys. Then they make money on the theme park ride. Then they make money on the cruise line. But Netflix has one revenue stream. Just one. Your monthly subscription. That's it. They don't sell toys. They don't have theme parks. They don't sell iPhones. This means Netflix has to be profitable on streaming alone, while their competitors can lose money forever just to put Netflix out of business. It is a war of attrition, and Netflix is the only one bleeding out. To fight back against these giants, Netflix pulled the only lever they had. Spending money. Let's talk about burn rate. To replace all that stolen content, Netflix went on a spending spree that makes drunken sailors look responsible. In 2021 alone, they spent $17 billion on content. Where did they get that money? They didn't have it. They borrowed it. Netflix is sitting on a mountain of debt, betting everything that they can sign up new subscribers faster than they can spend money. This is what finance experts call the hamster wheel from hell. You see, the binge model, releasing all episodes at once, is financially flawed. Think about it. You sign up for Netflix to watch Stranger Things. You binge the whole season in one weekend. Then what? You cancel. Or you pause. And you move to HBO to watch House of the Dragon. Netflix spent $30 million an episode to make that show, and you paid them $15 for 1 month and left. The math doesn't work. This is called churn, and it is the silent killer of the streaming economy. Netflix has to keep spending billions just to keep you from leaving, but they can't raise prices fast enough to cover the bill. Act 4, the algorithm of mediocrity. But it's not just the business model that's broken. It's the user experience. The soul of the company has changed. In the beginning, Netflix was curated. It felt premium. Now it feels like a content farm. This is what critics call the algorithm of mediocrity. Because Netflix needs to keep you watching for as many hours as possible to justify the subscription, they stopped caring about good and started caring about good enough. They shifted their focus from prestige TV to reality shows, cheap documentaries, and generic action movies that are designed to be played in the background while you look at your phone. Have you noticed how difficult it is to find something to watch now? You scroll for 20 minutes, paralyzed by choice, only to turn the TV off. This is decision paralysis. The algorithm is no longer trying to show you the best art. It is trying to feed you the cheapest calorie. They prioritized quantity over quality, and in doing so, they diluted their brand. The red N used to mean quality. Now it just means content. Act V, identity crisis. When a company runs out of innovation and their product gets worse, they turn against their customers. This is the final stage of corporate decay, extraction. Remember when Netflix tweeted, "Love is sharing a password"? Well, love is dead. Desperate for cash, Netflix broke its sacred bond with the user. They cracked down on password sharing, treating families like criminals. They tracked IP addresses and device locations, making it harder for college students or traveling workers to use the service they paid for. They raised prices again and again and again. The standard plan that used to cost $8 is now creeping toward $20. But the ultimate betrayal? Ads. The entire premise of Netflix, the reason we all cut the cord, was to escape advertising. Yet here we are, introducing ad tiers, introducing weekly releases, introducing bundles. Netflix has essentially reinvented cable TV, but with a worse user interface. The problem is simple. They ran out of humans. Everyone in North America who wants Netflix, already has Netflix. There is no growth left. So the only way to make the line go up is to squeeze more money out of the people who stayed. Conclusion: The Walking Dead. So is Netflix dead? Technically, no. They still have millions of subscribers. They will exist for years, maybe decades. But the idea of Netflix, the invincible innovator, the cool rebel, that company is gone. They are no longer fighting Disney or HBO. They are fighting sleep. They are fighting TikTok. They are fighting YouTube. Look at the younger generation. They don't go home and turn on Netflix. They watch Twitch streamers. They scroll TikTok. They watch 3-hour video essays on YouTube. The era of the passive viewer is ending. Netflix has become a legacy utility company. They are the new Comcast. You'll pay for it because it's a habit. You'll watch it occasionally, but you won't love it. You won't champion it. Blockbuster didn't think they could die. Kodak didn't think they could die. And for a long time, Netflix didn't either. But in the brutal world of business, you either die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain. And Netflix just became the villain.